You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today, just like any other show, we have another special guest. We're going to talk to someone that's going to help you about your book marketing needs. We're going to talk to Judy Baker. She is the founder and head person of bookmarketingmentor.com. She is known for not just helping individuals, but helping busy business authors and to help them find cash for their content without going broke or crazy. So, I'm excited to have you on the show to talk about this. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So before we dive into today's topic, how to get book reviews and less stress with more success, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to get into the book industry, being an author and mentor.
Well, I've always loved to read. And when I was a senior in high school, I decided I wanted to learn how to typeset. And this is back before we had computers to do all of this stuff. And so I had a friend who worked at a company, and I got excited about what she was doing, which was to do electronic typesetting. And I took a class, and I was the only girl in the class because it was not a class that was offered to women at the time. So I broke the gender barrier. I produced a book of my poetry and illustrations, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. And then a few years later, here I was at college, and I took a creative writing class and got shot down. My instructor only liked Dean Koontz. He didn't like the way I wrote, that's not my style, even though I read Dean Koontz and I think he's brilliant. So I didn't write for a really long time. And then after many years in business, I was in a mastermind group with two other authors, and I went to an event, and I walked into the conference and went, "Oh, this is my folks." And I took my branding talents and said, I can help authors, because most of them don't think about their book as a product. So that's how I got into doing what I'm doing.
You also have a story that's very interesting. You really went through something in 2014, led up to 2014 of having a successful win. And without me spilling the beans, I'll let you share the story with the audience.
Well, I was really busy. I was working away with my branding clients. And in fact, I was working on a book project for one of my clients. And I just wasn't feeling quite right. I kept hitting these points of fatigue. And then suddenly I lost my appetite. And I didn't really know what was going on, but I just kept powering through because, I had stuff to do. Until one day, here I was in my yoga class. I was doing the child's pose, which is supposed to relax you. And all the muscles in my back bunched up, seized up, and I went, okay, something is really not right. I walked into my doctor's office probably about a week later, and not suspect anything super awful, but my regular doctor was on vacation. So I saw somebody else in the practice, and she kept trying to get me to go to the hospital. And I said, well, I don't think I need that. I'm just having some distress, and what do you think this could be? Well, she was not very helpful. And a couple of days after Christmas, I wound up in the emergency room after not sleeping, spent the day in the hospital getting prodded, poked, and tested. And the emergency room doctor came in. I had been there since 8:30. The emergency room doctor came in, and he said, well, we don't normally like to tell you this in this setting, but you've got cancer. And I was quiet for a minute. And then I asked him, well, how do I get well? And we didn't yet know what kind of cancer I had. But my whole focus was not on, oh, this is the end of the world, but I wanted to know what to do next. And I had further testing the next week, and they discovered I had ovarian cancer. It shouldn't have come as such a big surprise, but it did. I have a gene called the BRCA gene, which is a hereditary marker. And my father was the carrier, and it was before they had discovered that. And so it's actually a blessing and a curse that I am BRCA2 positive, because there's more research on those of us who carry that gene. Because of that, I saw an oncologist very shortly thereafter, and immediately went into treatment right before my birthday. And within 6 months, I was basically cancer-free, and I have not had a recurrence since. And it was a big wake-up call, and completely shifted my sense of who I am and my business. And I got rid of all of the negative voices, of people, and refocused on what do I really love doing, and how do I want to spend my time and help more people. So that's my story.
And that's a pretty awesome story. Once again, we listen to I'm Focus Radio talking to Judy Baker. And with that said, today's topic, how to get book reviews with less stress and more success. You have a very strategic way of helping people to make that goal a reality. Because I like saying on the show, we want to promote education and action steps, not just, hey, you feel good, I feel good, we're okay. We need people like you to be a coach and help people get to their goals and to their next level. So break down this whole process for less stress, more success, and how to get book reviews.
Well, you would be surprised at the number of authors who don't have an email list. And if you want to be successful as an author, whether you are publishing with a large house, a hybrid, or self-publishing, growing your community through email is number one. And it will make it far easier for you to get book reviews when you cultivate relationships using email. Very intimate. People have to give you permission for you to send them email, and you now have a captive audience. When you are generous with your information, that's how you grow your engagement with your readers and potential readers. So email list would be number one. You need to ask is number two. You would be surprised at this one as well. Do you think people just automatically run over and post a review, whether it's on a bookseller's site or on social media, or maybe because I deal with nonfiction authors, are they running over to LinkedIn and giving you a post? Well, the intention might be there, but again, ask for help. And if you've got a core group of people, which could be 2 people, 3 people, maybe 10, and you ask them to ask their community to also help you, it will make a huge difference in the number of reviews you get. Oh, but back to that second one, you can put it right inside the book, where you say, if you would provide an honest review, you're not saying only a good review or don't give me any bad reviews, but an honest review, and tell them exactly where to go next. Far more likely that people will give you a book review. And you can tell people in your newsletter and emails just how much those reviews matter. There are over 2 million books published worldwide every year. That's 2 million new books every year, not counting all the books that are already in existence. So how do you think you stand out? The more social proof you have through reviews, the more likely people are to go, oh, I want that. I want what she's having. And when you ask for a review, what have you done for the people you're asking that favor of? If you are generous and kind first, you'll do far better. And instead of having your hand out with a request, give people a gift and then ask down the line, could you please help me by giving me a review? Another thing that makes a difference is building your relationships before you need anything. And don't expect everybody's going to do something in return. Reciprocity is great, but people get busy, they get distracted. So you probably are going to need to remind those people who said, yes, I'll give you a review, when you need it, why it's important, and it may take a couple of tries. And I'll even suggest, if you have the ability to do this, picking up the phone. I know, old school, but an individual request can carry a lot more weight than you think. So those are some of the ways. And I was just looking at a book myself about a half an hour ago, and I looked at the number of influencers who had given this author a testimonial, a book review. It was going on for pages. Now, I don't imagine he knew all of those people when he started out, but over time, he went from, say, people who were peers to the next level up, to the next level up. And you can reach out to A-listers, but look for a connection that you might already have and something that you can bring to their table first. Jeff Goins, who is one of my favorite authors and instructors, did this with Michael Hyatt. And for those of you who don't know, Michael Hyatt, he's still a big deal, but he was a big deal in the publishing industry. And then he went on to become a master coach to help other people get what they wanted out of life. And Jeff saw something Michael did, and he noticed that there was a problem on, I think, one of Michael's websites. And so Jeff said, oh, if you do this, it will help you. And that was about 3 years before Jeff had his next book coming out. And Michael was so appreciative because so many people were always coming to him that they developed a friendship. And I took a course from Jeff and I reached out to him, and I consider him a friend too. So when I publish, I can go to Jeff. So you want to think kind of strategically and long term. Now, a lot of people, a couple of years ago would have said, oh, but I want to be interviewed by Oprah, or I want to be picked by Reese Witherspoon to be in her book club. Well, those are nice aspirations, but not everybody's going to get there. But if you keep showing up in front of the people who you can help, you can say, who do you know who you could refer me to? So you keep asking for people's help. And you might not know this. Well, I bet you do, but a lot of your audience may not know this. When you ask someone for help, you are actually giving them a gift because they feel honored, and it gives them a chance to do something positive. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, when you get those great testimonials, you need to do something with them as well. And I invite you all of you authors out there, start some kind of a file where not only are those testimonials and blurbs living online, but you have a file you can refer to anytime. And if you have permission from those people who gave you a great review, you can start sprinkling them out using social media. You might create an Instagram post or a short article and refer to that testimonial in LinkedIn. And those who have been publishing for a longer time probably have a whole media page where you can see not only where they have shown up, like on a podcast, a radio show, or a television show, or in a magazine, but also what other people are saying about them. So those are great ways to do that. And this one is just proven time and again. Before you publish, what if you sent out a pre-release of your book? So you are sending to people who have said, yes, I will review your book in advance. An ARC is an advanced reader's copy. So those people who are looking at your book ahead of time, a way to get them to do that and give you feedback is to say, and I will mention you in my book. I will acknowledge you in my book. So now you're doing something good. They're doing something good. What goes around comes around. So it's kind of a closed loop. And when it's time for the book to go out, you're letting people know it's ready. And then afterwards, you continue on your website. Wherever that book is showing up, you encourage people to give reviews. And you know how your mom and dad probably said when you got a gift for graduation, you should write a thank you note? If you thank people who help you out along the way, they'll remember you. And the same goes for reviews. Now, it's not saying, oh, if you give me a review, I'm going to do, all these other things for you. But one of my friends did this after people read the book and they gave a review. She asked for people to post pictures of themselves holding the book next to their face, right up close, and then posting a review. So then their friends and family would see that. Again, that's going to get more eyeballs on your book and get you more reviews. And this is another little secret. What would you say if you signed up for my email and you got the goodie that I was offering, my freebie, and then I sent you something else that was even more wonderful, that was useful for you? Well, you can do the same thing. So if you're selling only on other people's retail platforms, you don't know who bought your book. So how are you going to get those emails? Make an offer that and put that in the book as well, that here's bonus material and here's where to go to get it. So you're again now getting people into the cycle of your community where you can send and exchange emails. And giving your book away is a brilliant strategy for getting more reviews. One of my friends gave away 500 copies of his book, and he became established as the expert in self-publishing, in independent publishing, because more and more people knew about him, and then they gave him reviews, went to his website. So make it easy for people to connect with you. And those are some of the secrets of how to get more book reviews.
Once again, been in this time Focus Radio talking to Judy Baker. And when people go to your website, I'll give that real quick. Her website is bookmarketingmentor.com. As we wrap up this conversation, when people are looking to connect with you to be potentially their coach, what's some of the things that they should maybe have in place or keep in mind when they approach to see if they're a good fit with you?
Well, I primarily work with nonfiction authors. Not to say that I don't work with other people, but nonfiction authors are my sweet spot. So you might be in the process of getting your book ready for launch. You could have already launched it and you're not getting the results you want. And I can help reboot that book so that you get the money out of your investment. And it's not always from book sales. I'm just saying. So you should know what your goals are or have some ideas about that. If you are a business owner, then I want to know about you, your book, and your business. I focus on a holistic approach, if you will, that all of those things are connected, that the book is not just the book. Your business should be reflective of your expertise, your wisdom, and that you're cross-promoting. And you can use that book in so many ways. So I want to know as much about you as you are willing to share. I'd like to see the book if you have already published. I'd like to know the title, where you're selling it, and maybe what's gotten in your way or what's been kind of a mystery to you. And then we can look at how to get you to your goals. I don't want to impose my goals on you. I want to help you get to where you want to go.
Once again, I want to say thank you to you, Judy Baker, not just sharing your awesome story, but just sharing your expertise with helping people market their book, and wish you nothing but success in the future.
Thank you so much.